Okay. Here's what the WWE does. People are complaining why it's not good enough anymore. I'm gonna tell you why. Okay? One, it's not good enough because people think that it's PG. PG! That, now here, and they think it's child friendly. It's a kids show now. It was a kids show in the mid-90s when they had Doink the Clown, Think the Clown, Giant Gonzalez. They were pretty flamboyant, over-elaborate child gimmicks. Giant Gonzalez, was just a poor excuse to make for a giant wrestler that from a giant pop culture icon from the 50s. There was in commercials. You see, Giant Gonzalez, they had the way the gimmicks went out. Now, it's more conservative. It's more subtle and less flamboyant. I'm sure they have Hornswoggle doing skits and segments and stuff that involves not wrestling. The WWE, I may contradict myself till no end, but that actually is good. Contradicting is good. You have different ideas, different ways of saying stuff. Different ways. Right? So you don't become a puppy dog. Fail! Okay, I'm going off topic. But here's what I think. Here's what my take on it. The WWE was PG in the 90s. From 1994, whenever WWE Raw was started, 1993, that's when it was starting, that's when it was PG. 1993 started 1997. Or 1996. And that's when it was PG. They had pretty, and look at, and don't get me started. If you look at WrestleMania, what was it? WrestleMania 11 in, I think, LA. It was like Monday Night Raw. It was exactly like a Monday Night Raw of that time. It was just like an ordinary wrestling event. Very unpopular. Very, very unpopular. And what we have now is we have very popular superstars, and it's more, did you know the WWE is known in like 70 countries throughout the world? Do you know the WWE is known, it has billions of dollars in revenue each year? That's a fact. And do you know that the WWE probably is gonna be on for another 100 years? Oh, definitely, probably like 50 years, and then they're gonna renew it. And the WWE is probably gonna be, it's the amount of popularity. When you talk about Hulk Hogan and stuff, it's a Hall of Famer. A Hall of Famer. Just like Faded Holy Soldier said. When you talk about, and see, this is the problem. And here's the thing. When the WWE in the 80s evolved. in the 90s, in the mid-90s, it dissolved a little bit. So it kept it a little bit, but it was still evolving very high. It was still very popular in the wrestling world, but pro wrestling. And then now, 10 to 12 years later, it's dissolving. The WB is dissolving. So these go in seasons. Vinnie Mac is going in seasons. He's saying, okay, let's do this. When the kids of today get into teenagers, they'll become, whatchamacallit? Oh, I know. They'll become like the Attitude too. Maybe in like 2 to 4 years, when the kids are maybe pre-teens or can handle it. Today's demographic or generation is pretty messed up. Don't you agree? Because we have people getting cell phones. You know, this is a little off topic. People getting cell phones when they're 6 years old. Back in the 90s, that never happened. Cell phones were costing like $200 back then. And and you see kids becoming more, I want more greed. Don't you agree? So next time, Redman 14, signing off.